Before we go to the garage to try and fire up the furnace that came out of this pop-up, I figured I would give you a rundown of the hell that this has become. Honestly, not that bad. I mean, we got some copper line out of it. We'll manage to get 10 or 20 bucks out of that. That's gonna have to go as light iron. That'll have to go as light iron. Gonna have to pay to get rid of that. Pay to get rid of poundage for that. We ended up with a bunch of aluminum chunks we're going to save to be able to use for projects once I get a TIG welder. The water tank, unfortunately, is damaged, but I think it's fixable in order to make it into a rain catch for my chicken coop. I've got an uphill section here, and I want to have a water catch that goes down into the coop. The old coop used to come off the back side of my old chicken coop, and then I had a trough underneath it. I gotta change it up a little bit. Gonna have to pay poundage to get rid of that. I've got some extruded aluminum that I pulled. I'm gonna save. John and I want to do some casting experiments, so I'm probably going to just set that aside. Same with the extruded aluminum railings. All of the bed sections are all particle board and they're all ruined, but what I'm going to do is set them out and fill them full of gravel, and then that way it'll make a basin area that I can park on top of. The door is some sort of aluminum steel composite thing, gonna go as light iron. And the pads I'm gonna have to pay to get rid of, and so therefore I've got them out in the sun so that they dry out as much as possible to get their weight down as low as possible. Luckily the top seems to be savable on this unit, so what I'm gonna probably do is make a wooden frame for it over next to my garage on the other side of the Ranger there. I've got a table for working outside that I've always wanted a cover on. I think this would be awesome to have right there and repainted and everything. That's what I'll probably do with that. Again, bed ruined, going to fill it full of gravel to make a pad area to park. And the accumulation of the light iron that I can throw in. At the end of the day, is it worth it junker-wise to tear down a pop-up camber? No, not at all. But if the furnace runs, that furnace is worth like $500 or $600 if I had to buy one. So, let's go take a look. Everything you know about wiring a home furnace in 110 gets thrown out the window when dealing with this Atwood. I was really surprised, and so I figured I'd break this down a little bit. Usually you got power, ground, and a couple of very small wires that come out that go to a thermostat. But if you look at this thermostat, you'll very quickly notice that these are power carrying wires. They are not small by any means. And these are huge, the wires that go to this thermostat. So what's weird is this Atwood has 2 incoming powers and a single ground. So what we've got is our single ground and 2 incoming powers. So normally what you would do is you'd have a white and a black, and you put the black onto the positive. And yeah, we don't seem to get too much going on here. Cute. So we take the orange, put it on the positive, and we don't seem to get too much going on here. Now what's weird is that now if we swap this over to the black, what the hell? But nothing happens. Curious. So, what in the world happened when we swapped it over? For some reason, you have to actually have both. Let me see if I can do this on camera. You have to have both in the system to get it to kick over. So it's going to run for a little bit. I'm going to hear that click over and let the propane in. Now it's going to fire up. And if we give it a little bit longer, you'll hear it get a little more roaring. And there we go, it's kicking up a little bit further and we've got hot air starting to come out. Now, it's 16,000 BTUs. Is it going to heat my entire garage at 16,000 BTU? No, it's not. But if we put it over there in the corner and we close off that area and we drop a tarp right here, all of a sudden 16,000 BTUs is only heating one bay of the garage, and we can even section that bay off even further. Oh yeah, that is putting out a decent amount of heat already. While we're right here though, I would like to discuss this versus the new Chinese diesel heaters. This is only 16,000 BTU, which means that a hopped up diesel heater that runs on the same 12 volts running off of diesel, putting out 18 to 20,000 BTU, runs more efficiently than this does. These Atwoods actually only run at about 79% efficiency, whereas a diesel heater runs at close to 96%. And yeah, so this is great to be able to have an alternative that we can work with, but I'm also probably going to have the diesel heater in order to use in the same system. But as it is right now, we've got our Rebo battery that we are charging with 160 watts worth of solar. We've got the diesel heater that heats the bedroom in the house. We should easily be able to patch off of this, run a line to the back of the garage, and be able to heat up the garage this winter with this little bugger. Plus, we've got another RV heater that we saved we might end up setting up. Also, we've got another solar panel on the back side of that wall outside, and that right there is a battery booster pack unit with 1-2 diesel heaters sitting right there that we might patch in. I think we're going to have some heat in here in an off-grid sense one way or the other this winter. I don't think that's how you're supposed to use it. What are you doing? Me. Big burp.